somebody ran out the stand with a blade in my throat.
Every weekend, thousands of grassroots football matches are played across parks and football pitches within the UK. For many, it's the beautiful game in its purest form, but behind all the joy, there is a growing crisis, one that's driving referees away in record numbers. Each week, grassroots football referees, with some being as young as 14, are subjected to verbal, emotional and sometimes physical abuse. I spoke to referees Thomas Worrell and Graham Swan to hear their stories.
I play football my whole life, so I'm used to abuse and everything in my country. I think it's a bit worse. Like, I had games of when I was playing like five-a-side football or futsal, people like carrying guns and stuff like that, another level of danger. But what made me start, like everyone, you want to be a football player, but you get to a time that probably not good enough. Or unfortunately, it's part of the game. I think every game has a bit of abuse. Sometimes you can tolerate, some other times you finish a game and you think like, why am I doing this? But yeah, most of the games, unfortunately, especially in Liverpool or the north part of this country, it's very common.
The decision they kicked off about went their way, but they wanted the kid who got a bit naughty sent off. Wasn't a sending off, he got a yellow card, but we were playing where there was a stand on the sideline. Somebody ran out the stand with a blade in my throat. The away team had called the police in the meantime. I played the last 8 minutes. I said, police come on, spoke to me. I said, well, look, he had a knife. I said, but he's seen you, so he's probably launched it. They searched him, didn't find it, so they went. I said, we can't just stay. For my safety, whatever reason now, they've got it in for me, I'll just get my bag and go. But no, they left me to it. They locked me in the changing rooms till the away side had gone, and they let me out then, 15 of them, standing at the bottom of the narrow steps.
You need to read the person. So when you're reffing, you're managing 22 different personalities. It's not all about, oh, come here, boom, red card, yellow card. You need to be calm sometimes, read the person. It depends what he said, how he said it, and if he's approachable or not. If it is a random player, probably most of the time you just talk to him, a quiet word. If he keeps going, makes it visual to everyone. Okay, mate, sin bin, off you go. If he keeps going, it's not acceptable, red card. But I try to talk a lot. That's part of my personality, and that's what I want to do.
Over 90% of grassroots referees face abuse on a weekly scale. But what happens next? When the final whistle blows, where does all that abuse get reported? And more importantly, does anything actually change?
On a Saturday afternoon, it can be an absolute nightmare trying to get on there. I preferred the old pen and paper where you just filled your report in, posted it, and it had to be with them by Tuesday. Obviously, we all have to do it online. For County FA now, the likes of me, I mean, I'm 71, so I'm surplus to requirements in their eyes, even though I'm probably the most, because I'm ex-Football League as well. So they tend to look after the younger ones. Trouble is, they throw them in at the deep end. They don't start them down the bottom and let them work their way through. They'll probably throw them in the Senior League Premier Division on a Saturday. Within 6 months, they get bullied and intimidated, and the kit's in the bin. They're full of good intent, but unfortunately, whatever they tell anybody else, they do nothing for referees.
Something that kind of maybe pisses me off sometimes is like, especially in Liverpool, you get people standing on the pitch and you can't really manage that because they won't listen. So I think the FA maybe should get involved with that. But sometimes it's just impossible to manage it. You just need to accept it and keep going unless it has an impact on the game. But I think the clubs now, they know when they're doing well or when they cross the line because they will get fined. Especially in this country, there's a lot of fines in football, so I think the clubs know now.
With referee numbers drastically declining over the past few years, grassroots football clubs have had to step up and offer more protection and support towards the officials. Football is much more than just a game. It's community, passion and brings joy to so many. But to protect it, we must protect those who make it possible on a weekly basis. I spoke to Borough Alliance Football Club chairman to hear what clubs do to protect referees.
If it's a young referee, we will always talk to the coaches and the parents beforehand. Say, this is a young referee. He'll make mistakes. He's learning it. So we try and protect him in that. Doesn't always happen. You know, people do have a win at all cost mentality. We don't have that at this club. We have an all-inclusive ethos. It's a young 17-year-old referee. He plays in one of our teams. I know him very well. He's a very confident person. And he was subjected to foul and abusive language, which was uncalled for under any circumstance. You know, shouldn't be in any level of football. So our process here is to speak to all the parties, and we will then contact the welfare officer of the club that we feel has delivered that, have had that impact. So that's the first point of call. We contact them directly, and if we're not happy with their response, we'll report them to the FA. But for me, it's a non-negotiable. It's zero tolerance. So the moment I heard that, we just act on it. I've asked them to send in the report, and we'll deal with the report, and then we'll choose the next course of action.
Mocking and abusing officials is often promoted by coaches and sometimes even by the players' parents. We are seeing the football elites target and ridicule referees on a weekly scale. With the professionals getting away with it on the big stage, it's found itself falling all the way down the football pyramid, even to Sunday League games. I had a chat with footballer Sol Matatia to give the players their own voice.
There's a few occasions that come to mind. There was an instance where I was maybe under 10s, under 11s, and a fan came up and nearly punched a referee. I've also had managers that have abused referees to the point where they've had asthma attacks and then gone home. So I'm certainly not oblivious to referees being abused in football at any level. I think when you've got 6 or 7 players from one cohort challenging your decision, then obviously it creates a lot of pressure and animosity. But in general, referees, they do make wrong decisions, but it is also their responsibility to deal with that and any repercussions that come from it, provided that they don't cross the line. I think it comes down to pressure. I think certain referees can fall victim to it, and it can influence their decisions for the game. I think referees, in my experience, have been intimidated by certain teams and certain groups of players specifically, and it can influence their decisions towards the latter stages of a game. Maybe they can take more onus on their initial decisions and let it go and just let that be that. But I've certainly seen some referees that let it haunt them for the rest of the game, and it influences their latter decision making. I wouldn't say protecting the referees at the forefront of my mind when I'm playing football. I play to win a game of football. If anything, I think the referee should protect the players. I think there's instances where tackles can go flying in that don't get dealt with, and then the intensity of the game will increase, and then players can get injured through violent challenges from their position. So I think if anything, it should be the other way around. I think ultimately it comes from decision making. I think if you make the correct decisions, then you don't get backlash. You earn a degree of respect from the players, even by the way you carry yourself, the way you communicate. So I think that perhaps developing those skills would enable them to protect themselves better.
Referees are one of the vital organs towards our beautiful game, but with the amount of referees deciding to hang up the whistle, the future of football is at a big risk. 1 in 3 young referees are paying to pass the course, but quitting within the first year due to the abuse they face. What do referees want their abusers to know?
Don't. It's simple, don't. Let the kids play football. It's driven by parents and sometimes players and coaches who are living out the game for themselves instead of just letting kids play football.
Just have some empathy. We're all human. We're no machines. We're no robots. Again, just think the guy in the middle probably has a family, like everyone. Probably has kids, brothers, sisters, and he has to go home then and make a decision. And that decision could impact in his life. So just have empathy. That's all I'm asking for. And referees are not against the team. That's all I'm saying.
Within the last 2 seasons, over 14,000 officials have decided to give up refereeing, with many citing abuse as the main reason. So next time you take it too far and abuse a hard-working referee for doing his job, just think how it may affect them on a personal scale.